All right, if you've been looking at Fayetteville, Arkansas as an opportunity, as a possibility of moving your family here, then you need to watch this video about all the pros and cons about what is life like here in Fayetteville, Arkansas. We're talking about taxes, homeless, we're talking about the weather, we're talking about traffic, and all the things that there is to do in Fayetteville, activities, restaurants, all this stuff. We're getting after it in this video. We're going to cover all from A to Z as best we can, and we're going to have a little special prize at the end for you. So be sure to stay tuned. So let's jump right in.
So, one of the main questions that we get is, what is there to do around Northwest Arkansas / Fayetteville? I mean, what is there to do, see, what's the weather like, what are the activities, and so on. So we're just going to jump right into that today. And let's start by talking about weather.
Yeah. So weather is, you're gonna have all 4 seasons here. You're gonna have warm summers that are gonna be up in the hundreds. Northwest Arkansas is less hot than Central Arkansas and then everywhere else in Arkansas. And you're going to have a cold winter. There's going to be some, but there may not be a whole lot of snow. Depending on where you're coming from, that's going to be a big difference. And then, you're going to actually have a spring where there's allergies and there's plants blooming and, pollen flying everywhere.
So one of the things, though, with it is, as Brett said, 100. We might hit 100 now and again, but in reality, it's mostly like low 90s in the summer. Humidity, can get us up there some days. But you mentioned also like having 4 seasons. So one of those seasons, the quote-unquote storm season, we have a season where there's a fair amount of rain, but with that, there's also one of the things that we have here that I haven't seen in other places is we get a lot of hail. So one of the interesting things is a lot of the people around here, if you get a patch of hail in a specific area, and it's often very specific, like it might be, a quarter mile by a quarter mile, and a whole bunch of roofs get damaged. And so the insurance companies come in and replace a bunch of roofs. So that's very important, and we'll help point you to great insurance agents when you move here. But it's important that your insurance policy have the hail coverage for your roof, because while it's a rarity that it might hit your house, it's hitting somebody's house this year.
I think out of a dozen houses last year, we had 11. We sold 70-something houses last year, but like a dozen of them had roofs replaced due to hail from the previous years. And so it's just, even though you may not think your house is like, it didn't even hail that hard. Well, get somebody out there in the next few months, get it checked out.
Take a look.
Have
a professional take a look.
Yeah, and so
we've got a roof professional we'll refer you to.
Yeah, we've got people. Don't worry.
Yeah. So that's part of the inspection process. Obviously, if you're buying a home, is that you would have an inspection, and part of that would be roof inspection, looking for hail damage. So we got your back on.
You're amazing
on that. So what kind of activities are there around here? What do you think the best activities are?
Well, predominantly there's a lot of hunting and fishing in this area. There's a lot of mountain biking and off-road trails and side-by-side 4-wheeler trails. We have a kayak park in Siloam Spring. We got a bigger one being built near there.
Millions of dollars for a kayak park, man-made kayak park on the, Illinois River?
I believe so.
Yeah.
And then Buffalo National River. It is a great place to go canoe, especially when the water's really floatable. It is a beautiful place.
Wow!
I've been here 13 years. I've walked some trails, but I haven't floated it yet, and I missed it by a week when I remembered about it this year. And so I put it on my calendar. We are going next year. We're going to camp on the sandbank and go to the Buffalo National River.
There's also a lot of great floating just across the Missouri line. Elk River, there's a whole bunch of floating opportunities there. Hit the river in that area. But you mentioned mountain biking. There's a ton of mountain bike trails around here. That's one of the big draws for our area is mountain bike trails, and Brent's into that.
Yeah.
I'm not into mountain biking. I'm into hunting and fishing, but so there's a lot of mountain bike trails there.
Yeah, there's all the way from Fayetteville up to Bella Vista. There's a load of trails. There's hundreds of miles of dirt trails. There's dozens of miles of paved trails all the way from South Fayetteville all the way up to the Missouri border. That you can stay connected. If you want to be on a trail all day, you could do that for several days and not see them all. So there's lots of options there. And then there's a lot of walking trails around here too. There's Fayetteville Lake Park that has a 5-mile loop around it. Beautiful place, nice, easy up and down. And then just the downtown events like Bentonville Square, Fayetteville Square has these huge farmers markets every week during spring through fall. They have movie nights on the weekends. In Bentonville, they have mountain bike expos and camps and sure, we'll call it
Festivals, carnivals.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff to do as far as activities outdoors, and then just like family involvement stuff. Man, the amount of arts you have around here, the amount of extracurricular activities that you can do, just getting your family outside, be socialized with other people, doing something fun, whether it's artsy, outdoorsy activity. You're not going to run dry. There's several emails that we get that we subscribe to just to stay up to. It's like you can't even go to every one of them because there's so many on every day.
Absolutely. Well, you mentioned earlier about places that you can go ride ATVs and UTVs and stuff like that. There's a place called Mill Creek south of Elkins that you can take your four-wheelers out, your UTVs out, and go ride through the mountains, through just rugged trails up and down the mountains. That's open to the public. That's free. So there's some great opportunities for that kind of thing, outdoors type thing as well. A little more rugged / outdoorsy than some other things, but there's plenty of hunting, fishing, a lot of public lands for doing those types of things, plenty of lakes and so on. So there's a lot of cool things to do around here.
Yeah. One thing I'm really enjoying about Fayetteville is everything's really close by.
Wow!
And it seems like you can just get there in 5, 10, 15 minutes.
Wherever you want to go. I mean, there's something to do at every turn. So the thing with being in Fayetteville is you're close to the U of A. Everything that has to do with the university is close by if you're in Fayetteville. Some events that also happen in the area are the Walmart shareholders. A big portion of that is done in Fayetteville. They pretty much spread it around. It's all around the city, but a lot of it's in Fayetteville. Now, we used to have Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue, which is a big motorcycle rally. We used to have that in Fayetteville. That kind of got moved toward Rogers here in the last 2 years. I think this is now the second year they're having it in Rogers, which is not far. Disadvantage to Bikes, Blues, and Barbecues. I love it. I love to go down and see the bikes. Sold my bike but a couple years ago, but just getting to go down and see all the cool bikes. People come from all over the country. Downside, there's traffic. I mean, for that week in those areas, specifically around there, pay a lot of extra attention. There's a lot of motorcycles on the road.
Yeah.
Thousands of motorcycles on the road.
We're supposed to be like the 3rd largest bike rally in the nation.
Yeah, yeah.
And they fill up every hotel, Airbnb, campsite. They're everywhere.
You name it.
They bring a lot of revenue to the area, but it's kind of a pain in the butt. And I kind of call it the Jurassic Park week. I used to live right by the highway, and like the house would just kind of rattle all the time.
Oh, man.
And so a glass of water would just shake and shimmer like on Jurassic Park. So, lame joke, I know, but traffic can be just frustrating with all the events that U of A puts on. Sporting events at the U of A. When there's a big football game going on, that stadium holds close to 80,000 people, and it will be full. When Garth Brooks was in town, it holds close to 80,000 people. The stadium was very full, and for like a day, the solid day, it was completely jam-packed. You couldn't get anywhere quickly, and you just got to keep those things on your calendar. Maybe get out of town for the weekend. Or the day or something like that.
And it's more specifically that side of town and around the stadium. So if you're just doing your business around the outskirts of the U of A, then you really don't have that much stress about it. But that is something to keep in mind.
Yeah.
So pros and cons, remember. So there's some cons for you.
Yeah, and so something about Fayetteville that is good and is frustrating to me is we have no shortage of places to eat. We have all the restaurants here. We have all the chain restaurants. It's college town. We've got everything that's quick and easy on MLK. But there's not a huge variety. It's just like fast food places and chain places, but there's not a huge variety of ethnicity. So, we're lacking some really good Indian restaurants, some Vietnamese or really good Korean restaurants. Yeah, there's some around here, but they're usually jam-packed or they're not that good.
Oh no.
And so that's one thing that's really frustrating. I love going out to eat.
We're getting a call after this video from Kim's Korean. I don't know if that's a real place. I'm just joking.
But yeah, so I think we need more variety. So if you're coming from a city that has 73 different options within a mile of you, you're coming to a city here in Fayetteville that doesn't have that many options comparatively.
So remember, this is why you need to reach out to us so that we can help you figure out all these things that we know about the local area, so you can tap into us. And this is so funny. A lot of times you guys watch these videos and you think that, hey, I'm not going to bother these guys. We love to meet with you and get to know you and have a coffee or something. And Brent, just a couple of days ago, was out somewhere and someone saw him and was like, hey, you're Brent. I've watched all your videos and so on. And then the guy's going on to explain that someday in the next few months, when he's about ready, he's going to give us a call because he just moved here and so on. So, but we want to meet you before you get here. We'll jump on a Zoom with you, find out what your needs are and so on. I mean, that was a pretty cool.
That was a unique experience. That's the first time it ever happened. And in relativity, our videos don't have that many views to get recognized from.
Don't forget, we do want to meet you before you get here. You're not bothering us. Pick up the phone, give us a call. We'll hop on a Zoom with you. If you're already in town, we'll grab coffee with you. Or if you're coming to town just to check the place out, you don't have to be ready to buy. We like people. We're good people. We'll hop in the coffee house with you, grab a coffee. So remember, reach out whenever you think about moving here, even when you're just in the planning stage. So we're starting something new today. We're going to give away either an Amazon gift card or a Starbucks gift card to whoever can answer this quiz question. So all you've got to do is figure out what's different about this versus the other video segment. There's something different about one of us. And all you got to do is go to livinginarkansas.com/prize and fill out the form and see if you win the gift this week. So
every entry counts as one entry. And if you get it right,
every correct entry counts as 2. There we go. That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
So have some fun with us. See if you can figure out what it is that's different about one of us in this video.
One of these is not like the other.
There you go. There you go. So let's get talking about Fayetteville. We're still on Fayetteville pros and cons.
Yeah. So historically, this isn't really a pros and cons statement. It's just a fact of life of what's reality and what's historically happening here politically. And so it's historically a red state. There's about 3.2 million people that live here. There's 500,000 people that live in the greater Northwest Arkansas area. And there's 500,000 people that live in the greater Little Rock area. Well, Little Rock is predominantly blue. That's a blue city. Fayetteville in the inner city is going to be blue. And then Bentonville in the inner city is going to be blue as well. And so typically, though, the state goes red. Measures that they put forward and the taxes and everything that go forward is going to be a red thought process. And it really comes down to people in Arkansas, they want to be left alone. They don't want to deal with everybody else's thinking. They don't want somebody else's thought shoved down their throat. And so if you're thinking about moving here, just carry that with you from wherever you're coming from. People get a little frustrated, a little testy about bringing your ideology here. And so I would just say, ask some questions, invite to understand their perspective.
And vice versa.
Yeah, and vice versa. And so that way you can get to know people and how they think around here and really make sure this is a great fit for you and your family in Fayetteville, Arkansas. So one thing I appreciate is we have a good number of homeless services around here. Yeah, we have some homeless people on the street corner. We've got some shelters, especially when it gets really, really cold around here. They open up a little bit more space for anybody that's in need like that. And there's lots of services. So if you like volunteering, there's going to be some kitchens that you can volunteer for. There's going to be some food pantries and such. There's a flip side to that. It's just you get the people on the street corner begging. And certain areas of Fayetteville, when the homeless shelter lets out, there's all of a sudden now 40, 50, 100 people that are kind of scattering through South Fayetteville. And it may not be a neighborhood that you want to live in. It's just something that you got to decide.
Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. It's up to you.
So it does. It's just a factor of Fayetteville, and so to be fair to Fayetteville, we have to mention it, and to be honest with you guys. So
You bet. There are some great organizations. I love supporting a ministry that feeds the homeless. We make 80 meals a week, approximately, and we've been doing that for years. So there's a lot of great ways to participate in and help with that as well. So let's talk a little bit about the cost of living here and how that has affected everything.
yeah, so cost of living, let's start with utilities. Typically our power companies are going to be about 9 to 12 cents a kilowatt hour, depending on if they raised it recently or not. I think my last bill was like 9.8 cents a kilowatt hour. Compared to where you're coming from, let us know in the comments what you're paying per kilowatt hour. That'd be interesting.
I know it varies a lot depending on area.
Yeah,
for sure.
some California places are like 80 cents a kilowatt hour, and that's just absurd.
Yeah.
We don't have rolling blackouts here. We don't have power constraints. We have, I'm not going to say we have an abundance of energy, but we have enough to feed our area. The other utilities like water bills are, for just my wife and I and a cat, it's about $40 a month. And I take long showers. And
Well, our electric bill is only around $100 a month. So, and that's, I like it cool. So I think that's really pretty reasonable.
yeah, and then as far as taxes, yeah, you have a state sales tax. If you're buying a car, you're going to pay 6.5% if it's over $4,000. If you're just buying some groceries or some items in the Best Buy or whatever, you're going to be paying around 10% on taxes. And then the average medical expense is a little bit lower here than the national average. The average housing price, we're like 97% of the average home price in the United States. A few years ago, we were down at like 85%. COVID and the demand of everything has brought it up. So we're about 95, 97% of the national average.
Something worth mentioning, I just saw yesterday, as a matter of fact, Arkansas is among some of the lowest in the country for unemployment, 2.2%.
Yeah.
There's a lot of jobs here, which hence there's a lot of people moving here. Let's talk a little bit about the growth. I mean,
Yeah.
the growth has been pretty amazing. I mean, I think we're seeing 30 people a day move to the Northwest Arkansas area, which is amazing growth.
You're amazing, amazing.
One of the reasons that we picked this spot, this old drive-in theater here, to talk to you near this afternoon, is they are leveling this. The old drive-in has sold. I've heard that they're going to put 300 living units here between townhomes and condo type, apartment type situations. So we're constantly building. No matter where you look, whichever area you go to, there's some new construction going on, varying degrees of it. That also affects, pricing. So we saw a little bit of a slowdown through the middle of the year. We are here in mid-July, and we saw a little bit of a slowdown with the interest rate starting to tick up. But you know what? We're still getting multiple offers on the right houses. And we just had a house a few days ago that we listed, and that house had 10 offers in 2 days. 7 of them were cash. 4 of them were over asking. So, it's still a very competitive market. It's still, you got to go out and find a house. And if you want that house, and it's a really great house and you really want it, you got to get it with it. You can't play around. You got to make a good offer. You got to do it quickly. The great news is we always put contingencies in place to protect you. We never want you to wind up with a house that you're sad you got after the fact. So we have things like home inspections and appraisals and so on, just to protect you through the process and make sure that you don't wind up with a lemon.
Yeah, so a lot of people are moving here, but they're building a lot, and this is why you got to reach out to us so we can get you in the right area that's going to be fit for your family, whether that's Fayetteville, Arkansas, Bentonville, Springdale, Rogers, wherever you're looking. Siloam is a really good place too. But I want to cut to the guy in the studio. He's going to show us on the map where they're expanding to, where Fayetteville's growing to, and why in that direction.
See ya.
All right, so that's the pros and cons list of living in Fayetteville, Arkansas. Now, we can't do the complete list of every little nitty-gritty detail, so be sure to reach out to us days, nights, weekends, whatever you got. We got your back. We're going to help you out. We're going to make sure you get the right house at the right price, the right neighborhood that's going to be a best fit for you and your family that fits your lifestyle. So phone call, email, text, Zoom call. Let's we want to hear your story and how we can best serve. Be sure to reach out to us before you get here. That way we can optimize how we are going to serve you and really be a stress-free process of moving cross-country or cross-state, whatever it may be. Hit all the YouTube buttons. You know what to do. It helps our algorithm and why. And so have a blessed day. Be sure to check out our next video, our last video right here.